The big story at this hour, almost a quarter of a century after the fire, businessmen Sushil Ansal and Gopal Ansal have now been sentenced to 7 years in jail for tampering with evidence linked to the fire in Delhi's Uphaar theatre in 1997 that killed 59 people. The Ansal brothers, who have a big property business, were also fined 2.25 crores each. 2.25 crores each by Delhi's Patiala House Court. Both were convicted of tampering with evidence in the case a month ago, and the sentencing has come today. The Ansals were earlier jailed for 2 years by the Supreme Court. Later they were released, fined 30 crores each, which would be used to build a trauma care centre in the national capital. The fire at the Uphaar cinema broke out during a screening of the war movie Border. The fire safety plans of the theatre were not in place, and in the resulting chaos, 59 people suffocated to death, while over 100 were injured in a stampede. We are now joined by Neelam Krishnamurthy. Neelam Krishnamurthy lost her children in the Uphaar tragedy. Neelam Krishnamurthy, thank you so much, as usual, for your time. You lost your children in the Uphaar tragedy, but you took it upon yourself to drive the case to its logical end, to seek justice for all the aggrieved, not just for you. Your reaction today, the initial judgment had left you and many others shocked and disappointed, but today the sentencing of 7 years. Your reaction to the 7-year term that the brothers have been sentenced to?
I think today's judgment, we really welcome the judgment of today's judgment of the trial court, because it means a lot to me. It means my children will be at peace today, because there can be peace without justice, and finally justice has been done. I have spent a quarter of a century in the courts trying to get justice for my children, and which of course they were convicted, but unfortunately they were allowed to walk free because of their money power. But today, once again, they have been convicted, and for a much more serious offense. And that is with the tampering of the evidence, because what Ansal did was absolutely blatant. They tried to interfere in the administration of justice. And the court has really come down heavily on them, because the documents that were tampered with were the documents were related to their day-to-day involvement. They showed their financial involvement. So all the checks had been removed. The MD's conference has been, the minutes of the MD's conference that they're showing day-to-day involvement had been removed. And finally, they've been held guilty for that offense. And I am very proud to say this today, that it was not the CBI, it was not the court who took action against this, which actually the offense was committed in the court. It was the association which went to the Delhi High Court. We got directions for lodging of an FIR. Had it not been for association, this wouldn't have been highlighted that the documents have been tampered with. It was we who went to the High Court to get the trial expedited at the stage of the framing of charges. And subsequently also when the trial was being led, because the prosecution was trying its best, but the defense, as before, was trying to delay the entire process like they did in the main Uphaar case, taking advantage of their old age. But then the Supreme Court did not give them a blanket permit, saying, okay, we are letting you undergo, in the main Uphaar case, so please go ahead and you can commit as many crimes as you want, but you will not go behind bars. So that's a very important factor, and the very strong message has gone today that it doesn't matter what age you are, but if you commit a crime, you are going to be sent behind bars.